Hello, today we are going to test the capacity and runtime of my newly built 3S 7P pack. This contains reclaimed sine watt cells from slbatteries.com.au, second life batteries, and it has a nominal voltage of 3.6 volts for each cell. So the nominal voltage of this pack is 10.8, but we all know 3S packs pretty much close to a 12 volt battery, 12.6 volts fully charged, and this is 18 amp hours and 194 watt hours. So this is all nicely packed and heat shrinked. I was really proud of that. And there's a white colored BMS in there. Actually has LEDs for when it's balancing, but still a cheap Chinese BMS. I got 3 leads. So one's a battery direct lead, a massive maxi fuse there because it's not attached to the BMS. And this BMS has a load terminal, and that's I put 40 amp max because that's the real world usage. I think it's rated for 100 amps, but I really highly doubt it. And then it has this board, BMS balance board, actually has a charge one as well, so had to solder on another one. So on this one I just put a little voltmeter so we can see what's happening with the actual pack voltage. Then the load's going through an inline watt meter. As we can see, we're a bit high at 12.69 volts, and then we're feeding into a 300 watt modified sine wave inverter, and this is actually going to power my monitor. Alright, so the reason why I'm doing this test is because, as we know, a 3S pack, when it drops in voltage, these things expect like a lithium or an AGM where it hovers around 12 volts for ages. You know, a fully charged lithium-ion phosphate or an AGM/SLA battery, you know, are above 14 volts and they sit around 13 volts for ages. And when it's in the 12 volt range, that's when they pretty much cut out. So these packs are going to go down to like 11 volts and it's still good. You know, even below close to 10 volts, this has still got some capacity in it. So I want to see how much I can drain before this starts carrying on and beeping. I think it beeps at about 11 volts, which is, you know, there's still a bit more power in that at 11 volts. And so I'm going to test how many amp hours I can pull using the inverter. And now I'm going to try this. It's a DC boost converter. So what I envisaged was I'm going to feed directly from the pack into here, and this is set at 12.8 volts, I think, which is the nominal voltage for a lithium-ion phosphate. So this is going to keep constantly feeding 12.8 volts into the inverter. This is rated for 400 watts. So technically, this will last longer without, you know, sounding the alarm. So I want to get my baseline first, and then we'll run the test again with this boost converter and see if I get a bit more runtime out of this. And of course I got to charge it up in between. So we'll do that and I'll check in with you a bit later. Alright, as you can hear, the inverter's beeping indicates low voltage, and that's already beeping at 11.12 volts. 11.1 volts. And I've only drawn, hang on, let me switch this off, otherwise you can't hear me. Only 73.8 watt hours from this 194 watt hour pack. So that's like less than half. Even less, yeah, way less than half. 6 amp hours, 6.26 out of 18. So it's only a third. You only get a third of the pack. That's pretty poor. Only 33.3333%. Alright, I'm going to charge this baby back up and we'll do a test with the boost converter, which I've 3D printed a case on it. There you go. How cool does that look? 3D printed the case, and we'll redo the test with this baby. Still waiting for this thing to charge up. I've put in 68.22 watt hours. It's taken almost 2 hours. And yeah, it's just at the constant voltage stage, so it's almost there. We're pumping in less than an amp. So yeah, here's the pack here. It says 12.5. We're almost there. Just thought I'd like to show you my SK120 DC buck boost charger, 3D printed case. I'm really proud of this. And powering it off an old MacBook Pro charger, and as you can see on the side here is a PD decoy. It's working very well. I'll talk more about that in another video. Okay, down to 0.25 of an amp now. Let's see, 6 amp hours back into the battery. I think for the purposes of this, we'll call it fully charged. So I'll plug it in with the boost converter and loop it back in. Alright, there are so many chains in this now. So I've got the voltmeter on the charge port, 12.5 volts. And the load is going into the boost converter, okay. And now it's my watt meter. See how it says 12.74? 12.5, so it's always gonna try and give it 12.72 volts, or basically 12 volts. What's this? Okay, bit of rubbish 3D printed stuff. Okay, I'll turn on the inverter. Here we go, beep beep, and we should be drawing about 40 watts again, which we are. So this meter's been reset, so we'll be able to see what we pull from it with the boost converter. See if this can last a bit longer before it starts beeping. Alright, we are just over 1 amp hour in, and as you can see the voltage is still 12.72, but the voltage of the pack is 12 volts. So you can see what's happening here, and you can see my idea. Hopefully get a bit more runtime. Becoming more clear now. 12.72 and 12. It'll be interesting to see how low this gets and if it can still hold up to 12.72 volts. It's now evening. I just wanted to loop you in because we are now past the point where it was beeping before, the alarm, low voltage alarm at 11.1 volts, now 10.9, and it's not complaining because the boost converter is still showing 12.72 volts. So we're past the point where we were alarming before. So we're past 6 amp hours. Let's see how much higher we can get. Okay, the inverter is squealing. 7.75 volts here. And we're still at 12.8 there. I'll turn it off for a second. Okay, let's see what's happened here. We are down to, well, it was down to 7.79, wasn't it? Slowly rising back up. So obviously the voltage sag when I'm running the inverter and the boost converter is bringing this pack right down. But we managed to run this for much, much longer. I was just doing some research. Obviously this is not the best inverter at all. It's a modified sine, 300 watts, commercial one from Repco. It's a automotive parts store in Australia, and the cutoff voltage is way too high. I can get a Victron 12250, which has an adjustable cutoff voltage. You can set to like 9 volts or something, so that's another option. But yeah, this works well in a pinch. I can tell you that the heatsink is pretty hot. I did see that this boost converter says it's 15 amps maximum, but it says for anything over 8 amps you better put some active cooling on it. I might actually put a little fan on it at some point. So yeah, it's still reading 12.74 volts now, but we're going to be sagging a lot when I turn this on again. And the cost of this, well, I got 2 of them for 18 Australian dollars from Amazon. You could get this probably much cheaper if you went on AliExpress or Temu, or bought them in bulk. So there we have it, guys. That was a good test. And just a bonus clip for those of you that stayed towards the end, just for giggles, I put in my reclaimed power tool batteries 3S pack, so slightly less than the sine watt cell pack, and we're just about to beep, I think, with this inverter. It's dropped to 8.89 here, still 12.72 here than this trusty boost converter, but we've drawn 155.3 watt hours. That's very close to that, so I'm really happy with the performance of this. And what's the moral of the story? Moral of the story is, don't use cheap inverters like this with not customizable or really tight voltage ranges, and they don't really work well with 3S lithium-ion packs. They're more suited to lead acid and lithium-ion phosphate. What I do want to get is the Victron Phoenix series of inverters, because they have such a wide voltage range, I think from 9 to 17 volts, so even a 4S pack will work. But anyway, this boost converter, cheap little device, has given me more runtime with this modified sine wave inverter, and basically any other, generic or not commonly branded inverter on the market. There's a quick hack for you.